Now at 6, the Peoria tribe looks to grow produce year-round with a massive new greenhouse project in Miami. Plus,
as election season nears, campaign signs from all parties are being vandalized or stolen. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
And young visitors to the Joplin Public Library can take a walk through an adventure story.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Late developing story: authorities identify skeletal remains found in Wilson County, Kansas, and arrest a Neodesha man for murder in the case. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. Authorities arrested Joseph Ferraro on a warrant for first-degree murder. The arrest came this afternoon in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Now, last Tuesday morning, Neodesha police found skeletal remains in a pasture on Ottawa Road in Wilson County. They called in the sheriff's office and KBI to help investigate. Also today, the KBI is identifying the victim as Levi Ellis, also of Neodesha. The cause of death has not been released. Ferraro is currently in the Tulsa County Jail awaiting extradition. The Peoria tribe in Miami, Oklahoma held a groundbreaking for their new 35,000 square foot greenhouse. The facility has been a work in progress for a long time. It'll be a step toward food sovereignty for the Peoria tribe. The greenhouse will provide produce such as tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, and more. Organizers plan to provide healthy food options for child care facilities and elder care programs. They hope this new greenhouse will help tackle the issue of food insecurity.
Whether it's, a daycare system, an elder care program, or, a single mom or a family, we want to make sure as many people as possible, and an elderly person that's home alone, we want to make sure that they have access to good, healthy food.
They hope the new greenhouse will also provide job opportunities for the Peoria tribe. We're going to have a lot more on this story for you tonight on KOAM News at 10. Right now, though, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for our first look at the weather.
Well, it's definitely turned out to be a nice Tuesday today. 73 is where we stand in Joplin, quite a bit cooler than what we saw yesterday. 73 as well in Pittsburgh, 72 in Fort Scott, 77 in Welch, Bella Vista, 76, 72 in Monette, and we have the clear skies. If you're going to be out this evening, we're going to continue with the clear skies. Of course, evening daylight hours are shrinking up rapidly. Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, all looking pretty good. Through the evening, 60s, 50s, eventually down into the 40s later on tonight. So it's going to be a slow drop through the 60s, 50s. But once we get after about 3 o'clock in the morning, look at these lows. 43, Lamar, Neosho, Veneta, 46 in Chanute. But of course, we're going to start to warm things back up over the next few days. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
Catch you in a few. Campaign signs are a common part of election season. You find them everywhere, yards, roadsides. We told you yesterday there have been reports of these signs being vandalized or even stolen in southwest Missouri. Well, as KOAM Samantha Walker shows us, it's a problem in southeast Kansas as well.
Every election I've ever paid attention to, there have always been thefts of signs or vandalizing of signs or different, destruction one way or another. And it's something that we never want to see, and it's certainly not the right way to get your opinion across.
Campaign signs from all parties are now being targeted. Behind me is just one example. It's a Harris Wall sign that was slashed down the middle and has now been taped back up. Many local Democratic parties are now using the slogan, "You can take our signs, but not our votes," as a response to the vandalism and thefts.
I don't know if they think they're silencing something. We have plenty of signs. We've been replacing all of them that have been taken down, so they're not stopping the conversation.
Signs have been targeted all across the 4 states. The Crawford County Democratic Party says they know of roughly 30 signs that have been stolen, and their large campaign signs have been targets of vandalism multiple times. Those with the Crawford County Republican Party say they've stopped keeping track because the thefts and vandalisms are so common during election season. According to the Pittsburgh Police Department, targeted attacks on campaign signs is not usually a legal expression of speech.
Depending on the dollar amount of the item that's damaged or stolen, it could potentially be like a lower level misdemeanor, or it could be a very very high misdemeanor, depending on what's going on, or felony. But in cases of signs, they're typically low dollar items, but it's still a Class A misdemeanor in Kansas to steal something that doesn't belong to you, and it's a Class B misdemeanor to damage something that doesn't belong to you.
Political groups say they believe there are more constructive ways to support your candidate or express your discontent with others.
I mean, there are candidate forums, people can get involved, but stealing signs doesn't really accomplish much.
The right way to do that is to make contact with your political party and help them out. We want to do things like voter registration drives and phone drives and even prepping envelopes for mailers. Any number of things, but the last thing that's going to be productive is to vandalize somebody's sign or steal it. That's literally not going to accomplish anything except make you look bad.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Political organizations and the Pittsburgh Police Department recommend keeping campaign signs in view of security or doorbell cameras if possible. Of course, that'll make it easier to see and identify people vandalizing and stealing those signs. Joplin Public Library has a brand new story to tell. Visitors to the library can check out the Story Walk display by the East Doors. Thanks to the Hughes Charitable Trust, young readers this month can experience Cale Atkinson's story, Explorers of the Wild, an adventure intended to get those little ones moving. The library says the professionally printed pages make a world of difference for the display.
Trying to build up our collection so we can rotate through them. Previously we were doing all of that ourselves. It took a lot more time, and so now we're able to have it all professionally printed and laminated, and it looks so nice.
The library says the project was made possible thanks to a generous donation from Logan, Emily Reed, and Mariana Stanley. This is homecoming week for MSSU, and today the Lions celebrated with a petting zoo. That story's coming up later. But up first, a battle over Amendment 3 heats up in the Show Me State. A woman who is a member of a movement called Don't Mess with Our Kids wants Missourians to vote against Amendment 3, saying it would indoctrinate our children. Amendment 3 is intended to provide for the right to reproductive health care without governmental interference. A local Democratic committee member and former teacher says the claims by opponents are false. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has that story.
Concerned that the children in our nation are being sexualized right now. We're concerned that in the schools and in the libraries they're being indoctrinated right now. We're concerned that there are a lot of things that are harming our children.
Tammy Brown is the ambassador for the movement Don't Mess with Our Kids. The movement believes schools are allowing sexual impurities towards children. She says it's only going to get worse with Missouri's Amendment 3.
It would allow transgender surgeries on minors. It would also allow minors to have abortions without parental consent and even without parental knowledge.
Susan Wagner, the chair of Jasper County Democratic Central Committee, says these claims are false.
Missouri, permission is required for general medical treatments, and there are already statutory provisions that are exceptions to that.
Wagner is a former teacher. She disagrees with the claims that schools are pushing certain lifestyles.
I'm in 100% disagreement that is happening in our schools, that children are being indoctrinated. Some of their social and emotional needs have to be done in the counseling department, but the indoctrination piece is totally false.
One thing they both can agree on, it's a matter of faith.
Pray for different things. I don't really pray to exclude groups of people.
Reporting in Carthage, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
The Don't Mess with Our Kids movement is going to Washington, D.C. next week to pray and fast at the Capitol. Amendment 3 is on the ballot in Missouri for the November 5th election. A little bit later, PSU shows off some brand new uniforms for this weekend's homecoming versus Missouri Western.
Plus, it looks like it's going to be a chilly night for us tonight. We're going to check that out coming up. Well, it turned out to be a nice Tuesday for us today. Cooler than what we have seen over the past couple days, as we had a pretty good cold front that rolled through during the morning hours. Looks great, clear skies outside. Nice shot of the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. Of course, we're looking downtown Joplin. All right, check this out. So our 24-hour temperature change, it's 12 to 14 degrees colder right now compared to this time last night. So that cold front kind of cooled us back down to where we should be for this time of the year. But of course, we're going to go the other direction. 74 in Cassville, 75 in Bentonville. Miami 77, Chanute is sitting at 74. Getting darker much earlier. 73 north winds at about 10 miles per hour. The winds have come down just a little bit. The temperatures are going to go down as well. 60s, 50s, eventually into the 40s later on tonight. Still north wind kicking in at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. We've had gusts 20 to 30 throughout the day. The winds are going to calm down, switch out of the south by the time we head into Wednesday afternoon. And what this will do for us is start another warming trend as we go through the next few days. In fact, the winds will pick up a little bit by Thursday. Clear skies, nothing going on here. Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, all looking pretty good. In fact, if you look from our neck of the woods, points west, there's nothing going on. So this big stretch of nothing, that is our weather as we go through the next few days. Now, temperatures kind of up and down. We just don't have any big storm systems moving in. Look at this, 43 by tomorrow morning in Carthage, 43 Cassville, 44 at Grand Lake, 46 in Chanute. So it's going to be chilly. Southerly winds start to increase a little bit through the day, lower 70s by noon. Once we get to about 4 or 5 p.m., mid to upper 70s to lower 80s. I think most of us 81, 82 degrees. Wednesday night, not as chilly as what we're going to see tonight. We'll dip back into the upper 50s. And then Thursday heating up back to hot. Temperatures, most of us 90 to about 91 degrees, which is well above where we should be for this time of the year. 47 in the morning, 73 by noon. Plenty of sunshine, high temp, 82 degrees by the time we head into Wednesday afternoon. All right, let's look upstairs. So 15, 20,000 feet. You see these white lines pretty close together. That is where our jet stream is. Stronger winds way up north, Minneapolis up toward Winnipeg and parts of Canada. Until that jet stream drops farther south, we're not going to get any big storm systems here. Now, we do have a wave on Sunday that rotates through the Great Lakes. We'll drop another cold front through, but again, looking through next week, not much going on. We'll watch for a little tropical moisture that could develop down to our south, but besides that, pretty calm. So if we go toward the weekend, near 90 on Friday, much of the same on Saturday, and then we'll watch that next cold front. You can see that wind shift line dive through, which will cool us down a bit by early next week. 82 Wednesday, 90 Thursday, so hot, 88 Friday, 90 on Saturday, 83 Sunday, and then back into the upper 70s by Monday. So kind of up and down temperatures, but overall, we're staying dry.
Yeah, we really need some rain, Doug.
We do.
At least it won't be too hot for too long.
Very true.
Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, Missouri Southern men's golf is back in action at Henderson State, and Pitt State football is joined by a few other MIAA teams in this week's top 25 rankings. John Dale says those stories and more coming up.
The college golf season continues along this afternoon, and for the second time in as many weeks, the Missouri Southern men are in action. Just last week, they hosted the MSSU Fall Invite. Today, they wrap up play at the Battle for the Belt in Hot Springs, Arkansas. 15 teams from all across Division II compete over the past 3 days. Henderson State is the host for the event and the champion. The Reddies take first place with a combined total of 10 under par through the first 3 days of the tournament. Missouri Southern takes 11th place, tied at 34 over par. Lions' best round was on day one, where they shot 6 over. Here's a look at the individual leaderboard. 2 players finished tied for first at 7 under par. Then there's a 3-way tie for third. That includes 2 players from Henderson State. Ben Markman leads the way for the Lions. He finishes a team best 30th place at 5 over. Connor Goins and Blake Heimberger not too far behind at 8 and 9 over respectively. Southern is back at it next week in St. Joseph. Pittsburgh State Athletics unveils the uniforms it'll wear for this Saturday's home game against Missouri Western. Gorillas will wear red jerseys with white helmets and white pants for the first time this season. Pittsburgh State Athletics 2024 Hall of Fame class will be honored at halftime of that contest. And the Gorilla football team should be well rested coming into that matchup on Saturday. They had the last week off, one of their 2 bye weeks this season. With no game, Pittsburg State remains at the same spot in the top 25 rankings. Gorillas stay at the number 10 team in the country, but they're joined by 3 other members of the MIAA. Central Missouri is number 12 in the nation after beating Nebraska Kearney by 1 point on Saturday. Central Oklahoma is undefeated at 4-0. The Broncos are ranked 17th. They're in Joplin this weekend, taking on Missouri Southern. Then Emporia State, who beat the Gorillas a couple weeks ago, is number 18. They just lost to Northwest Missouri this past week. And while today marks the first day of October, of course that means playoff baseball. The MLB postseason begins this afternoon, and that includes the Royals. They play in the best-of-3 wild card series against the Orioles, and the Royals win Game 1 of the series 1-0 over the Orioles on the road. KC gets a great pitching performance from its ace, Cole Reagans. He throws 6 shutout innings, allows just 4 hits, all while striking out 8 and not allowing any walks. Bobby Witt Jr. delivers the only RBI of the game with a 2-out single in the top of the 6th. Game 2 is tomorrow at 3:30 in Baltimore. Just like that, if the Royals win again tomorrow, they're on to the ALDS.
And their ace presumably would have a bit of time to rest up before that series takes place. We'll be right back. A reminder, you can see live coverage of tonight's vice presidential debate beginning at 8 p.m. on KOAM TV right here, also on Fox 14. Now here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News on Fox 14 after the debate, a little bit later than usual. Doctors say fall is the time for people to get up to date on their flu and COVID-19 vaccines. Medical experts discuss how to address vaccine hesitancy. Plus, A Nightmare on Elm Street celebrates its 40th anniversary. We're going to sit down with the original Freddy Krueger about the making of that film. And we take you to a Fire Safety for Kids event in McCune, Kansas. Those stories and a lot more tonight. KOAM News at 9, later than usual on Fox 14. The Lions, we told you, are celebrating homecoming week, and they've invited the community to join them. This is day 2 of the celebration, complete with this petting zoo, along with food trucks. It's also a fun day for the community.
I like to just do fun events all around the year, and it's just something to bring more student attraction. And like, we're a big commuter college, so it's like something fun for all of our residents and then the commuters that have a little break between classes, and they can come out to a petting zoo or just a different event we hold throughout the year.
The theme for day 2 was two-stepping. The theme for this year's homecoming parade is Wild West. That's going to take place this Saturday at 10 a.m. Not a bad day for a petting zoo, I suppose.
No, today was fantastic. A little bit on the windy side. It's going to be chilly tonight. We're going to drop into the mid-40s, but then we start to heat back up. 82 tomorrow, 90 on Thursday. No rain in sight.
Oh, well, what do you do? Final sports notes.
A couple more notes on that Royals playoff win. It's the first time they've won by shutout on the road in the playoffs in franchise history. It's also the first win in the playoffs since the World Series back in 2015.
Wow, long overdue.
Yeah, we like big gaps and nothing here in Roseland.
Seems like
that's all right. As long as they get another one and can keep advancing, we're happy. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10 after the debate. Let's make it a great evening.